it's an honor again for me to have Anne Merino, the author of Palliser Park, and also her son, David Cameron. Now, if you guys remember, I had David in the conversation in the past, but tonight we having David with mom, and the reason being, he just produced a compelling video, and the testimonies at the conversation website, the YouTube podcast, really clearly justifies why David has done such a compelling work. But to begin with, Anne, let's start with Palliser Park.
Okay.
Now, it is a book that is, I would say, slowly but surely making its way up.
Yeah.
And your readers really, they truly enjoyed your book. And I can see that also with all the book clubs and the people with whom you're speaking. And you told me the other day that the book can be found in some libraries, not from your community and
Yeah.
some distance away. So
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
indicates, people are talking about it.
Yeah. No, it was really
So,
exciting. I just happened to pop into a regional library because I had some time to kill before I was teaching a class. And I walked into the new arrivals to take a look and see if they had any, good thrillers or something. And there it was on the shelf. I was just absolutely gobsmacked and utterly thrilled.
and what does it tell you? It tells you that people are talking about it.
Yeah.
Usually when libraries pick a book, maybe there have been some demands. People are coming and requesting to check out the book, and if multiple people are doing so that's when they begin to take a look and then they order it. And that's a great thing.
I think so too. Yeah.
And David,
I love the idea of books being in the library anyway. I love libraries, and I just think it just gives me a great feeling to think of my
yeah,
work being included in their collection. So yeah.
yeah. And if the closest branch to you, if you know the people, you can even donate a copy. Just
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
we've been doing that also. So David, now, David, there's no need to ask you for how you're doing because I know you've been doing super, super. Uh, Really, what strikes me is the video that you just released. Um, Talking because I know as an editor, I read the manuscript. When I read it for the first time, I knew from the get go there was some very cinematic, description into it. Very, very, very cinematic. The scenes at the castle and all that. But what struck me is see how you capture that.
Mm.
And a 3 minute video. It's just like you just take a synopsis of the book and then you recreated it in pictures. So how did you come to that? Did you discuss that with mom?
Well, so I think a big part of the motivation was the music that you provided. It was such a great track that you could kind of visualize what was happening while the lyrics were going. And I think her plan was to let that carry a lot of perhaps the narrative weight and try and invoke more the feeling of Palliser Park rather than maybe literally depicting an exact scene from the book or exact characters. More so invoke the style, the theme. I know one of my priorities was I really wanted the the location we had to speak for itself, as well as the costumes that everyone was wearing, because I think that is a lot of the DNA of Palliser Park as well. I mean, the
Mhm.
book's name, Palliser Park, a huge component of it is just taking in this large estate that's kind of been rebuilt in its new owner style. And I think the video captures that really well. That it's more about soaking in the feeling of being in I mean, I know our actors definitely felt that way,
Mhm.
that it was kind of easier for them to get into their character because you put on the costume, you're at this incredible location, and you can kind of just immerse yourself in it. Um, so I think that's one of the greatest strengths of the video is just
But
getting
David, can
immersed
you
in.
tell us a little bit or how did you get to approach these impeccable actors?
Well, so we've been working in our local scene for many years, sort of
Ah,
building a cadre of actors we can call upon. Maybe you can speak to that a bit.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of the actors, I always says I can talk. I'm just so tired from the theater this week.
that's okay.
But I have so many theater contacts, and I do so much theater in this area, ballet and traditional theater that I was able to bring in dancers from my ballet company, shameless self-promotion, Northern California Regional Ballet. So we were able to bring them in to do some of the movement and to play some of the parts. And then we had some actors as well that we use in various theatrical things. So it was really wonderful to bring David in because unlike, he's not an amateur. David is a filmmaker. He
Right,
is
right.
this is what he does. So it was really exciting to shoot it and then let him put it all together. So it was kind of exciting.
And part of the fun, I think, with working with so many dancers that are very comfortable telling stories through movement is I think
Yes.
in this video right off the bat, we knew, well, we have lyrics in the music video. Um, there's not going to be any spoken word. And so having all these dancers sort of emoting physically what their characters are thinking rather than having to rely on direct words really allowed us to have a lot of fun sort of
Hmm.
building the
Hmm.
plotting and the story of the video.
There was a lot of laughter. We just rolled around on the floor a few times. That's a
I
lot of
know, I can imagine. Right?
I wish you'd been
Yeah.
there. We would have put you in it.
So I think, David, you before you get to the final product, I think you had a lot of cuts, right? A lot of cuts, huh? And
Oh yeah.
that's what filmmakers do.
How many times did it take us to get the actual strike on Chloe where
Well,
we
so that actually only took two takes because it was my hand holding the statue.
That's right.
So I was able to just, I know what I wanted to look like and I did it. But there were a few shots, I think, especially
The stairs.
the stairs,
Yep.
the sort of champagne opening in the beginning. That I think may have taken 8 takes just because it was a one-man show. I could only film so many things and I wanted to film it from as many different angles as
So
possible.
That's
those
exactly what's going to be my question because there's an
yeah.
area where the gentleman is coming with the hat, must have been like the investigator or something,
The
and
sort
then
of stand-in for Major
there was the
Coleman,
other
yeah.
guy hidden behind that wall. So how did you get because he's moving and you get that on the other side? Do you have different cameras to do that, David, or
No,
how?
no. So, just one camera, just me on camera, and you just really pay attention to blocking, and you have your actors. Your actors, you almost want them to kind of ignore the camera. I
Uh-huh.
mean, you want them to cheat out to the camera, things like that, but really, you're more so creating a scene in time that you can run again and again and again, and all the movements are the same. And then you just repeat it, and I just bounce around for different angles.
Those poor people came down the stairs. I don't know what 20 times.
Yeah, I don't know how many times I said, okay, just one more time.
They must have been exhausted, right?
Yeah, we
Before we
put them
get
through their
to
paces.
the real one. But I'm sure they
Amazing.
actors, they're used to that, so
Yeah. Although the little boy, Rico, he was our little sort of 1920s boy. I think he decided that filmmaking wasn't for him after
He
that.
got a little
Just
tired
he
halfway
thought that
through.
was pretty exhausting, and then maybe his idea of continuing on into the medical world was really a smart choice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I wanted to touch on something really quickly. You mentioned the idea of like the real one or the real take. Well, the
Right.
fun thing about filmmaking is that's not really a thing. You do so many different takes because it's like you find different pieces of the puzzle each time you go through it. And then
Okay.
it's a fun, as you know, as an editor, the fun is then picking and pulling what you like and sort of
Uh-huh.
using movie making magic to make it appear like it's one single take.
Uh-huh.
Um, so yeah, it was fun sort of bouncing around the different takes. Sometimes in my peripheral I'd see some of the actresses having a fun little moment and I would clock, okay, next go around, I want to capture that because that looked really interesting.
One thing that really struck me is I know you didn't show the fall, but you show the victim. So in other words, as the music was playing in the background, and you could see that the victim down on the ground. So even if you didn't read the book, the story, you know exactly what's going on. You see what I mean? And that scene really captured for me towards the end of the video as something pretty powerful. So is that how you decided with mom that this is how you're gonna show? Is this how David? Or did you discuss that with the actors to do that? Or
Wait, yeah, so I think again because we didn't have any dialogue, we wanted to rely on the really striking imagery and let the visuals speak for themselves. So
right?
I think when you see the shot, the POV, the point of view, the detective sees the body for the first time, or when they're about to catch who they think the killer is. Um, Really just letting the viewer soak in that feeling. I know the final second to last shot we end on, where they corner who they believe is the killer that they've been chasing. And I think just letting the actor do the work and their facial expression and the music in the background, um, it just adds a lot of seriousness to it that I think being fussy about it would have taken away from that. And instead, we really just I keep going back to the word immersion. Just immerse yourself that you're really there at this estate. You're involved in the events and trying to minimize everything that would take you out of it.
Yeah, because with the movement, with the bits of ballet in it, really it creates kind of a fantasy, doesn't it? Because it's not there's this immersion in this world, and then you've got these kind of fantastic, and I don't mean fantastic in yay hooray, but fantastic in the older sense, these kind of fantastical moments where dancers are suddenly leaping and running, and I love the shot where they're running into the gate through into that.
Yes.
To me, that was just gorgeous, and it came
Yes.
off so well. And what we did when we kind of got there, this farm is the farm of the Gilbert family in Wheatland, California, and they have farmed that land for 150 years. So it's a very, settled old estate with gorgeous trees and things. So we knew it was perfect.
Mhm.
But when we got there, we just kind of had some ideas. We had some very definite shots we wanted, but then we just kind of played with it a little bit. David would say, "What if they all run through the gate?"
Yeah.
And then we just threw it together and did it, and it came off so well. I was just like,
Oh, I think we had a lot of fun with the genre that this book falls into. And I think the
Right.
fun thing about Palliser Park is it kind of has a foot in multiple genres. But when we were making the music video, I think a lot of our motivation was, okay, we want to immerse the viewer in the world of the book, maybe not so much as like the literal plot, but just the feeling of like being at this estate, people are dying left and right, like what's happening. Um, and so we wanted to invoke, you could even call it tropes of the genre. Like, oh, this person's kind of the mysterious and suspicious owner of the estate. This person is the sort of gilded, I'm trying to think of a bird, gilded bird in the cage, or
peacock or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's sort of the swan on her way out. Maybe she's
Mhm.
got something to do with it, and sort of relying upon these tropes of sort of mystery fiction, detective fiction, to communicate a lot without saying a lot. Because the reason tropes are great is we have so much like cultural context for what they mean in
Mhm. Mhm.
storytelling, and
Mhm.
you can call on them like signposts to get across the vibe of your story.
And we did go
Mhm.
in thinking we'll do some, since we're basing it on Palliser Park and trying to get that immersive feeling. We did do things like, oh, Jake can be Major Simon, so we see him. We see Lady Alice with him, the gorgeous Lakshmi Das, and
Mhm.
we have Lynn as Nick Saxby, who's sort
Ladies,
of
that is the
the
lady
young
on
man who
the
was sort of assisting.
okay.
So we have those three characters that you see a lot in Palliser Parks. We sort of had them. Then we had a sort of Lord Fitzrobert character, who is obviously the man that's coming down the stairs. And then we have the sort of glamorous actress character who's kind of lingering at the door, not sure if she should step in, but she does. And they're not, as I say, not exactly Palliser Park in that sense, but they are definitely part of that universe. And I think I'm just so thrilled with it. I just think it's so much fun.
So let me ask you something, David. I know last time we talked, you said you were very much interested in producing a film that would depict the African American experience. Yeah, that's what you say. And you also say your dream is to pursue a career. Of course, obviously, that's what you went to school for. Yeah. So, can you share with the audience a little bit about what you've been doing since then in terms
Yeah.
of,
So I've been working on a feature film script called Lantern Light, and
called what?
it's Lantern Light,
Oh, Linton Light. Okay.
and it's set in the 1800s,
Oh,
and
wow, historical.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm a big Wild West kind of guy, so that's my love.
Kind
But
of post-Civil War.
yeah, so it's sort of in the shadow of the Civil War, and it's a supernatural script, has
Okay.
ghosts and everything, and it's about this town grappling with its past, where it was in a historical territory in the South that was never really Union or Confederate. And so it sort of doesn't have an ironclad identity in how it approached that conflict. Um, and the people of the town are going every which way. And some are very miserly in their thinking, and some are very progressive. And you have sort of the threat of a physical manifestation of a ghost, kind
Okay.
of the Confederate past that's haunting people.
Right.
They have to literally and metaphorically deal with. And so I've been writing that script, and I mean, of course I would love it, but I love it. And what was fun with this music video we made was getting to work creatively with all these performers. I tapped a few of them to do table reading for the script because I've written it, but I've never heard it spoken aloud before, and to see
Okay.
how it works when a performer is actually given the rein to use
Right.
it. So we did a table reading, and I thought it was great, and I discovered some changes I want to make and other parts that I thought were really strong and I should focus on. So I'm going to do one more draft of Lantern Light and then start trying to shop it around and see who's interested.
Okay. So how would you do that? Would you have some sort of a trailer? So you produce a trailer, right? And then you start.
He's actually already done a trailer.
Well, in university, yeah.
He has a micro short. Well, this is a micro short where the head of his university department said that it was the best micro short he had ever seen, professional or otherwise. And it was featured in the Beijing Film Festival in China as being
Wow.
a superb example of a short. So we've got that. There are a couple of production companies that I'm very interested in pursuing for this screenplay. One of them would be Chris Pratt's production company, because I think
Where's Chris Pratt's production company?
Chris Pratt was Star-Lord in
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
As
Oh,
for
okay. I got you.
production company itself, as I think you're about to say, there is a bit of not levity, but because I think it's important that you like your characters and you like your leads, there is some humor there, and I think Chris Pratt, if you're listening, I think he could balance quite well the drama and the baggage of the story and the era, while also keeping the characters likable, and you want to root for them and all of that.
Well, he is a very likable actor, isn't he? So yes, if Chris Pratt's out there.
No, so okay, so once you have that done, so how do you go about recruiting actors? But you have to have some sort of a budget, right, to do that.
Well, so if I was shopping around a script, it would be to sell it to a production company, so they would buy the rights from me to produce it, and then of course, I would love to be more involved from that point, but they likely have a lot of their own people that they want to do casting and bring their own producers on. So the focus primarily is writing the script, polishing it up, and then getting it ready to present to various production companies to see what they want to do with it.
Okay, but you wouldn't want to be the one to produce the film.
I would definitely, but like I said, a lot of these production companies would probably have people in-house that would be first in
Understood.
line for a lot of these jobs. But
You do.
if they wanted me involved in some capacity, I'd definitely love to.
But David, you're so skillful. Well, now, do you see yourself sometimes in the future? So that would be, you would be, at the forefront of your own production. Mom will support you, of course, and your dad too.
If there are any old lady parts, I get them.
Yeah,
Because you're
I
so good at
definitely.
it. I remember there's a piece that you sent to me. I think it was a trailer where you played a role as a cowboy or something. Uh, yeah, that piece was really, really like a Wild Wild West. Was that the one you're talking about?
Oh no, that was a different short film. As I said, I love the Wild West, so I've got a few stories cooking in that genre. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'd love to be able to like direct or produce my own film someday. I do primarily think of myself as a writer. So if I sold
Okay.
a few scripts in my lifetime, I would consider that like way
Right.
beyond success.
Right.
Um, I am a teacher though, and
Yeah,
I
I know. Mom
became a
told me.
teacher.
Congratulations.
Um, oh, thank you. But I became a teacher because as I took training to be a director in university, I realized there was so much common similarity from what a director does to what a teacher does, where if a teacher's trying to impart a lesson and share it in a way that another mind can receive it, conceptualize it, and internalize it, that's exactly what a director does, just with a film crew
Right.
and students. So I love the opportunity to have a vision and get to share it with a crew at least once in my life. But of course, being a director is the most coveted position on a film set, so we'll see what happens in the future.
So remember Tanvi Gandhi? We had that on our Twitter family. She's a film producer and also a film director, but she's Indian from India. So she produced a couple of interesting films, and she told me the way she started. She hired a local actress, doing that big name actress, and then she created her own little family of actors. And then since she used her parents' connections to raise money and ultimately to produce her first film, which won a prize at the Chicago Festival, and so that's how the career got started. Yeah, so and I know you're a teacher, but you have such a great talent in terms of producing short films. And I hope someday, maybe one of my stories,
Yeah,
you would be the
absolutely.
one
Wouldn't that be fun?
to direct him. How's that, right?
Yeah, incredible. I teach film, and so I'm thankful that I feel I get to keep my skills sharp while I teach. But I
Yeah,
definitely I'm still in my 20s. So I
of course, yeah.
in the future, if I never made a film, that would be one of my greatest life regrets. So I think at some point it's got to happen.
Yeah.
Well, and Ardain, your novels are so cinematic. I
Mm.
mean, they're just so sweeping. Talk about epic storylines. I mean, that opening where the character is creeping in the bottom of the ship to America
Right,
and all
right,
it takes
right.
up.
That
I
that
mean,
scene. Yeah.
it's just a natural for film. It would just be
How would you produce something like this, David? I know you read that part of the story, which begins on the high seas. He's cramped down in the belly of a ship, try to survive. That scene really is pretty, that's pretty horrific. And I know someone like you can produce that, can situate that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, so I have an answer as to like how I would approach the like a movie as a whole in regards to your book. For that scene specifically, I think, I mean, luckily it's kind of an enclosed space, so you could set it up on a soundstage. But
Okay.
in my head, technicality wise, don't ask me how I would do this because I'd have to hire professionals to set it up. But I'd set it on a soundstage, build an internal of the boat, and then
Okay.
set it so you can control how it rocks back and forth just a little bit.
Okay.
But so you could have that physical motion, and then your actor can feel that motion and put it into their performance and just, really feel it out. Because I think your goal with that scene is not only to visually represent what's going on, but you want the physical feeling. You want your viewer to almost have a physical reaction to what this experience would be like. Because all your senses would be active at this time, sort of trying to start your life again on this boat that, as nice as modern technology is, there's always a touch of unease when you're on a boat, and I want to bring that forth.
Of course.
And,
Of course.
and the character is so he doesn't know if they've been, if they're close to shore, and if they get close to shore, are they going to be set upon by, official people or whatever?
Right.
And there's this real tension,
Yeah.
and it's trapped in the bottom of
Yeah.
this. It would be
And
a great scene.
how disorienting that would be. So
Yes.
I think, that would be a fun challenge to have.
Because his world depends on all of these little things happening correctly
Right.
as they go in, and one thing goes offline and it's all over,
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, so we've been talking for. So any other short film, David, that you have in mind? Or
Well, I don't want to speak on it too much yet because I think we're still workshopping it. But because the crew we worked with, the ballet dancers, the actors we worked on for the music video, it was just such a fun process. We kind of want to keep that going. So we have sort of again, I think we still have to talk about what format it would be, but almost like an episodic web series, sort of again dealing with the paranormal because we love that.
Yes, we do.
But really tying in sort of ballet movement with the sense of the paranormal and trying to film something about that. So yeah, I don't want to say too much yet because it's still very fresh and we're still kind of getting the shape of it. But yeah, that's a project I'm really looking forward to.
and Anne, I know. Remember when we talked last time, you said you have at least a couple of literary projects, but the one you think you might have a sequel.
I do. I think I've almost got it framed out. I'm almost ready to start writing it. The Palliser Park, the #2, the sequel or whatever. I think it's fun. It's very different setting from the original Palliser Park because I want to send them to Arizona
That's
in
what
the
you said, yeah.
early, like 1920, to a horse farm in Arizona and all the sort of things that happen there. I think it's going to be fun. I really
It's
like
still
it.
going to be right after World War One, 1920. So
Right, so it'd be 1920. So that's a fascinating time in Arizona. I was going to set it in just outside of Scottsdale, and at that time, Scottsdale was really a farming town. It was very small, but I think it would be fun to put Major Fairlight out of his turf onto
okay, so
fish
he
out
can
of water.
experience that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, this is Lady Alice's. It is her turf. She knows it well. So she gets to be the one that kind of knows what's going on, and he's the
Right.
one that's kind of trying to catch up. So I think that would be a lot of fun.
Okay, so with that, on that note, it's been such a pleasure to
It's
talk
always
to.
wonderful to talk to you, Ardain. You're the best interviewer ever. You're just so good.
David, last word.
I'll just thank you for having me on a second time. I always have so much fun speaking with you and can't wait to do it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.